generation, food promotions, and exhibition. During the intense period of the pandemic, the activities of the unit were severely curtailed. We had to find a different way to reach our stakeholders. Hence, the Zoom and Google meetings and training platforms were incorporated into our regular face-to-face activities. So far, this has proven to be a blessing, as through Zoom and Google meeting platforms, we are now able to reach more persons than we were meeting before. Our trainings are now widely viewed locally and internationally. Video food promotions continue to increase, and persons are learning at their offices and in their homes, looking at what the social services home economics officers are providing through video. Group meetings and practical food demonstrations like the one we're about to do this morning is now happening widely, and we are happy to have you. And we continue and is committed to serving you. We are committed to improving the lives of all our stakeholders. We encourage you to call us, contact us through email, contact us through contact us through the parish offices or on our CUGs, which we will share with you at the end of this training. Thank you for being here and keep watching. Okay, everyone. Are you getting a feedback? We just want to find out. Can unmute and answer, please?
Not anymore. It was with when they were speaking inside the open space.
Sorry about that. No, they're not. Okay, so all right, so thanks again for joining us, and we just want you to know that today's session is a practical session from a follow-up of the last exporting of dried herbs and spices. So today we'll be doing two processes where we'll be doing a milling process and we'll be doing just a drying and packaging process. So we'll be doing the ginger, which is our selected produce that we're using. And then we'll be moving on to dried cinnamon leaves. Anybody in here, what processed ginger and in what form? Nobody does ginger? How about cinnamon?
Yeah, Andrew here. I do ginger, but I have an issue with the powder format. It's not, the consistency is not that fine refined.
Okay, so you do mill ginger.
Right, but I use like a lamilpa grinder. But,
okay, that's what I was gonna tell you now. Yeah. Depending on the mill that you use, some persons use blender, some persons use a grinder. But at the facility that we are, that is the St. Elizabeth Agro Processing Facility, there is a hammer mill, and that gives you different texture. So you have texture like powder form, and then you have granules. So if you want to utilize that service, you can come to St. Elizabeth, and drying services also offered here. So I don't know if you want to do that. I think that's Mr. Wright.
Yeah, well, what you can do is you could send me the information. You know,
all right, so what I'll do, I'll put the contact information in the chat, and you can have the contact information of all the officer that has a agro-processing facility, because what happens is that different things are processed at the different facility. Which parish are you located?
You know, the funny thing about it, I'm right up in Ginger Hill. That's like down the street from you.
Oh, Hanover?
No, Ginger Hill, by YS Falls.
Ginger Ale in St. Elizabeth. Okay, so the office is in Santa Cruz. You can schedule your timing and you can come in and use the facility. So if you want to come in with your products already dried, that service is also offered.
Yeah, but then what if you guys do the full process from drying straight to milling? That'd be,
Dry what?
I mean, what if you guys do the full process? If I just deliver the fresh ginger to you, and you guys do the drying and the processing.
Okay. So when you're using the agro-processing facility, you normally take somebody with you and you come and process. However, for the drying of the items, you don't do drying.
Okay.
So we can dry and we can mill.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Thanks.
Okay. So I'm going to be putting in the chat Miss Wilson's contact information, and you can contact her and she can give you all the prices and the details of it. Anybody else does ginger or powdered turmeric or pimento? No? So Miss Lee, Diane, you have an interest in ginger processing. What type of processing?
It is something that I am interested in getting into. So it's kind of new to me, but that's the reason why I'm here to solve.
So that's perfect. You're the perfect candidate for today. And for today, as I said, we'll be doing ginger and dried cinnamon leaves. So I'm about to hand over to the process flow. Okay, so stay tuned.
Good morning again, everyone. As you were told right now, my name is Antiquated, and this is and washing and selection process of ginger. We'll be doing powdered ginger and dried cinnamon. So we will have to pre-prepare the ginger for the dry process. And we selected, and you know when you're selecting ginger, whenever you're selecting ginger, you have to ensure that the ginger is mature. So this is what a mature piece of ginger looks like. We do not want them to be really small, and we do not want it to have rotting ends or parts of it that may compromise the quality of the product. Okay, so after selecting the ginger, we want to ensure that we wash the ginger under running water. So we wash to remove all the debris and everything that is physically attached to the ginger. We use a soft brush that is used only for food to wash the ginger. Okay, so we can break parts of it. Take it apart.
Yes, look at animal like that. Yeah, man, animal are rough. My woman and one big problem, brother.
After doing this, we will immerse it in a solution of vinegar and water. Here we have 1 part of vinegar to 3 parts of water. We could also use baking soda, where we use 14 grams of baking soda to 1 liter of water. And we leave this in this solution to sanitize the produce for 5 to 10 minutes. After we have done this, we will put in a colander to drain. Okay.
Your ginger has to be properly dried before we can, all the water has to be gone from it before we can move to the next process, which would be the hydration, slicing. I'm sorry.
And this is what a colander looks like. It has a hole in it, so you put it in another container where the water can be drained. So we have the wash or ginger, and we are going to use our slice here. Or if you don't have a slicer, you can use your cutting board and a knife. All right. So let's demonstrate both process. So this is the slicer, and we are going to slice our ginger. Turn, turn for tomato. This is what it looks like when you slice. So now we are going to put them to dry. So we're going to place them on the all right, so we put them on the mesh. This mesh is a 40-inch square mesh, and then we place it into our dryer for drying. And this takes between 3 to 4 days. And based on the thickness that we have it, the thicker you have it, the longer it takes to dry. So this is a good thickness. So within 2 days, you have your ginger dry. All right. The spinner, you will have it. It will dry the faster. This is some that was already done. So we have them nice and dry. And then we will move on now to our filling process. All right. For our milling process, we have 3 different grade mesh. This one is the lightest that we have. And we go down to a powder stage. And based on that, we don't have to do any sifting with the machine. So this machine behind me is what we'll be using to do our milling. All right, so I'll just quickly set it up for you so that you can see the process. Yeah, and we'll be using the finest one for the it's noisy when I start the machine, so you might hear it up. As we keep it. So the powder will come out at the bottom where you have our bacon. So that is where the powder will come out. Right? So this is what our powder ginger looks like. For a minute, we have this one, right? So from here, we are now going to practice. As I said before, I don't have to explain because of the kind of information that we need. All right. So we're going to wait, and we have our gram scale. And for our packaging, we're going to use gunnels for our pack. We can depend on the size. They have different sizes that we can size. So this is a larger bag. This is preferred more so for the cinnamon. But we're going to actually use our standard pouch, which is very nice and neat. So you'll see the product inside, and then we'll have on our label on it. All right. Okay. Packaging is anything that you use to wrap or to put your product. You have to contact the packaging if you use the packaging, that is the product with that packaging material. Your packaging material has to be very clean. The packaging material because the product will come in direct contact with the food. So before we go ahead and package, we're going to be preparing our gram scale. We have a scale at home, but today we're using the gram. So it's powered on already, so we're going to pair it. And this here doesn't mean pull it apart, what we're actually doing is not video. So we get the correct reading. But before we put in our product, we're going to do it in the back. So if you realize that 0, so the bag itself weighs 4 grams, 4.7. Now, in the plan, everything has to keep good, feeling top. You're not using that to clean it, so they clean as they go along. And their nails and what have to be short and clean because when you come to the packaging material. And if you have a food glove, you can glove as well. Now the rubber glove that is in there is with food glove because the rubber gloves have a smell, they don't want that. Now for our powder cinnamon, powder ginger can. This rubber is going to be still in the packaging bag. So we're looking the next way for the powder ginger will be 28 grams. So this is 23, so we are going to start with it. Now, whatever you have on your label, for your product, has to be reflected. So we're looking for 28, so we're going to add more, and we're adding under 20. So what is the function of the packaging identify your product. You have to protect your product because you don't want to into your contract and provide other there are going to that can change the exact activity that cause product spoils. You also have to promote your product because for companies advertise your product. And it also because of packaging material it also prevents damage or spoil during handling. Now once you package, we're going to be labeling. Now labeling is very, very important. And some of the key components that the label should have must have a brand name, should have a note date, objective for date, the ingredient, very, very important ingredient, and if you put nutrition fact and your bar, those are very, very, very important information. Reason for unnecessary allergic reaction. So your label is a marketing tool that helps to promote your product and it's supposed to be catchy, not forget. And if you could add a little story to your label, just tell us the story about the product. Storage and use, that could be very, very important and also very key about marketing. Very, very important for traceability. Now, your label should add to your packaging material and take away from it. They don't want it too big, they don't want it too small, but it should enhance your product. I don't want to. Okay. First, we need to seal it. So we need to double seal it. So as I mentioned before, the packaging material and for protection, we don't want any things to come inside. Now we have our pedal impulse sealer. This rubber is going to demonstrate because it's too high to cause burning of the couple part of your packaging material which you don't want. So to get a proper solid seal, timer has been set, and we're going to use the pedal to add pressure to the top. So it's a double seal in it. And once the light goes off, so there's a light at the top of the pedal, seal off, once it's off. Once it's off, it's good. Now, once this is finished, nothing can enter. So it's double seal. In transportation and storage, when you send it off, nothing can get into it. Remember food safety. Now we're going to be adding our label. You don't want to hide the product. Voila! Here. So this is our West Zone brown ginger. 1, 2, 3. So just like that, you can have this up to the US, Canada, any other country if you so desire. Once you get the regular stamp of approval from the different authorities. Yes. Now we're going to be demonstrating another process. Let's get some feedback. Okay. Before we move on to our section 2, we're going to invite the participants to give us or to ask us questions. So are there any questions? Can this volume be increased by 100%? It is at its maximum. You're still not hearing us?
We are hearing you, but I know what they're saying. It's the fact that you're using a phone. There's nothing you can do about it, honestly. You're using a phone and and you're in a big space. So the sound will be muffled. We just have to pull a little bit closer. But my question is, You were talking about the labeling, right? And I didn't hear much because your bandwidth got a little bit low. So in the first part, you were saying that labeling is important. So I'd like to hear a little bit more about the labeling.
Okay, all right. So the labeling is a marketing tool that you use to promote your product and to attract potential buyers. So your labeling should consist of your manufacturer's name, date, the address, the before date, ingredients is very important. What am I missing? Ingredients, which is very important, and the net weight, and in some instances, nutrition facts. And most persons are asking for the nutrition facts, you know. Then, essence, that is what your label should consist of. It should be catchy and something that person should easily grab to, because we have a lot of competitors out there, so you don't want too dull. At the same time, you don't want too bright and overbearing. The person just pass it by and oh, that's too fussy. They want you to stand out and compete with your competitors. And it should fit the packaging material that you're using. So if you're using a large packaging material, whether primary or secondary, the label should be in conjunction to the size of the packaging material.
Okay, thank you. I have another question. If I do need to do the to get my seasoning to, or my spices to a powder, to powder, and for labeling, could I do that through you?
Yes, we don't do labels. We don't do labels, but we can give technical advice where that is concerned. And anything that is out of our realm, we work closely with interagency collaboration with other agencies that assist in getting your product out there.
Thank you. That, yes, you just answered the next question I was about to ask.
Okay. So somebody asked, where do we get the nutrition facts done? You can try SRC or Bureau of Standards. And let me see if there are any more questions in the chat. You can go ahead with the other questions.
Okay, I think Galaxy J2 Prime, could you just unmute your mic and go ahead and answer the question your hand is up? If you're not ready, Judith Huggins, your hand is also up. You could go ahead and unmute and just ask the question.
Yes, hi, good morning. I just wanted to know how long it took for you to dry the ginger.
3 to 4 days. And
3 to 4 days.
Right, and let me just emphasize, it all depends on the thickness of your slices. So the thicker the slices, even though it takes 3 to 4 days, if you cut them too thick, then maybe the period will run longer. But the max, but after sizing, it's 3 to 4 days.
And also, we use a solar dryer, so that therefore the time would reduce. However, for persons who are processing and using just the sunlight and your covering and all of that, and you're ensuring that your product is not in contact with metal, it may take longer depending on the sun. Okay, and we see a question from Stacey, and it said, do you recommend?
Before we move on to Stacey and question, Janelle is just going to show us the thickness or the correct sizing of the so this is the ginger that we sliced earlier. This is at 4 millimeters thick. Right, so this is a good thickness for it to dry easier. All right, so this is what it looks like at 4 millimeters. All right, and with this sizing, 3 to 4 days solar dryer. Now,
do you recommend the use of antiquated agent for the ginger? So no, and also if it is dried properly, it shouldn't have a caking issue. So maybe it's the dry. Whenever you do your product and you want to test the dryness, once you snap it and you hear it snap, you know that it's dry. If it takes a little time to break, then you know that the product is not fully dried. And that can also cause molding. Once the package is sealed, you will have mold if it's not dried properly. What's the brand name of the mill? Fritz Mill.
FRITZMILL.
All right, I have a black tea link. I have tea like black mint. The correct procedure for what? Charlotte, what's the correct procedure for what? Okay, while we wait on Charlotte to chime in, we have another hand that is up, Alva Dawn Anderson. Could you just lower your hand and go ahead with your question, please?
Okay, I will. Good morning.
Good morning.
I will lower my hand as I find it back. All right. I have been doing some collecting of herbs with exporting in the back of my mind. I have not yet registered my business. I know that if we're going to be doing a business like this, we must first be registered. Am I correct?
Company's office, right? Yeah. Yes.
You're hearing me, right?
I'm hearing you. You're not hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now. All right. How can I get into the export market?
You're exporting what? Herbs?
Yes, I would love to export herbs. I have been collecting stuff like bay leaf, basil, neem, moringa, black mint, cinnamon, and I also have a vegetable called spinach.
For your exporting, are you thinking commercial or non-commercial?
Well, I was thinking non-commercial first, but then when I saw this, I started thinking otherwise.
Okay, for the non-commercial, you say you're doing here. For the non-commercial, you don't really readily need a facility to do the processing in. But however, you have to have what we call a plant quarantine certification. So what you need a plant quarantine.
Okay, I heard you. Plant quarantine certification.
Okay, Ms. Anderson, we have a follow-up section after this where we're going to be giving information about commercial and non-commercial exportation of these spices and herbs that we're doing today. So if you stay with us, you'll get all the pertinent information that you desire.
Yes, bless you. Thanks so much.
Okay, thanks much. Mr. Andrew, and then we'll take another question from the chat and then we move right into our second section.
I have a quick question. Based upon your experience, what is your comeback ratio from fresh to dry ginger? Also, based upon your experience, do you find that the ginger, your final product, dissolvable in water?
Could you say that again for me? You were a little bit you were not clear. I'm sorry. Could you just go ahead for me?
What is your comeback ratio from fresh ginger to dry ginger? Because currently I'm getting like a 10-to-1 ratio.
And that is correct.
That's correct. Okay.
Yeah, that
also,
is correct.
when they're in a powder format, when you use the mill, do you find that the ginger dissolve, or do you still have residue with the final product?
Okay, I'm going to ask Ms. Wilson to address that question. I'm just going to invite Ms. Wilson to come and speak on that because she is a little bit more familiar, have more expertise in that area.
All right. As it relates to your question on ginger, if you do 10 pound fresh, you'll get back about a pound and a half in terms of dried. That is before you mill. So that's the ratio that we're getting. It might be less, it might be more based on the water content that is in your gingers and the stage at which you get them. So if it is not mature, you might get a little bit less. If it is too hard, you might get a little bit more. So that is what I find with it.
Also, a follow-up question.
Okay. Also, most of my customers, right? They are complaining that ginger do not dissolve in the water. So I'm trying to figure out a way how to resolve that issue.
All right, maybe the granular size, ours that we use is very powdery, so it would dissolve. As I showed earlier, the different mesh sizes that we have, So this is the extra fine, so it comes in like powder that flour that you'll get in the supermarket. So this would dissolve in water.
Could you also repeat? Could you repeat the mill you use? The name of it? I didn't catch it.
It's Fritz Mill, FRITZMILL. All right, I know the final one is still in the machine, but these are two other grades. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Okay.
The one that I use is actually finer than this one, and this is another grade. So it depends on what grade granular you get back, that would dissolve in water.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Oh, that was done by
14 mil to 1 liter.
for how much baking soda you use to your water?
Baking soda. Okay, 14 grams, 1 water. Come on. Come on. It was a solution of 14 grams of baking soda to 1 liter of water. You can also use the vinegar, which is 1 part vinegar to 3 parts of water. So if you use 1 liter of vinegar, you will use 3 liters of water. Is that okay? All right. Is that, okay. Have I answered your question, sir? 14 grams of baking soda to the water. We will put the information in the chat.
Okay, thank you guys for participating so far. So we'll be moving on to our next session, which is dried cinnamon leaves. And we'll be going through the step-by-step process as well to show you up to the finished product.
Okay, so we are going to be doing our dried cinnamon leaves. Okay, so in the selection process of the cinnamon leaves, we need to ensure that the leaves are mature. So leaves like these, we do not want to include them in our drying process because they do not have the aroma that we would require. And so we would remove them. We would take the more mature leaves. Okay, so we would wash, of course, under running water to remove any physical, any dirt which may be there. We also want to ensure that we select leaves that do not have fungus or virus. You can look at the leaves and you can tell. So, for example,
they are clean, yes. They are clean, there's no blemish, there's no insects, but we're still gonna wash to ensure that it is clean.
Right. You would not want to select a leaf looking like this because this will compromise the quality of the product. Okay? So as we did with the ginger, we would wash under running water to remove any physical dirt which may be on the produce. Then we will sanitize in a solution of baking soda and water. As I told you before, we use 14 grams of baking soda to a liter of water. Here we have 28 grams of baking soda to 1 liter of water. We would not want to use a solution of vinegar and water because the vinegar will react with the color of the cinnamon leaves, right? And so we have chosen to use baking soda. So we allow them to sanitize for 5 to 10 minutes, and then we will put in the colander to dry.
To drain, get rid of any water residue, excess water residue that is on the leaf. Okay, so now we're going to be placing it on the tray for drying. And this will be taken outside. It will be taken outside and get off. And then
All right, so once we wash and put on our trays, we'll take it to our dryer, and that will dry within 3 days. All right, because we'll have enough space for airflow. You have to have airflow in your product, else you'll have mold growth. If you don't have airflow, then you'll see mold growth. Okay? So once it is dried, we will then pack it. Because of the ginger, we do the milling, but with this, you don't have to do any milling as such. We'll just go straight into packet or packet. Okay, we'll be doing the packaging process. This is our dried cinnamon leaves. And as Ms. Daly was mentioning before, this is the final stage before you package. All right, sorry, this is our dried cinnamon leaves. And as Ms. Daly was mentioning before, you do a sorting session. However, even nobody is perfect, so you will have some products that are not supposed to be there. So this is one of the leaves that are spotted and has fungal, not a very appealing, the one clean leaf. So we are going to remove, this is our final stage of removing all the leaves that are not supposed to be in there. All right, so we go ahead on one package. And we're using a different package. Okay, so this bag has a 0.5 millimeter thickness, which is recommended especially for export, as it is hard to pierce. So we'll be using that bag. Usually we use it for vacuum seal, but we're going to be using packaging. So we're going to do a tearing technique. And for the cinnamon, we'll be doing 14 grams in this package. So because we don't have any perfect condition, we got leaves from different persons. So when you're doing bulk, you may not get leaves from the same tree, so we'll have a different color depending on the maturity and also depending on how green it was. It also depends on the process of drying. Direct sun will cause the product to change color. If dry not so or dry, you'll have some amount of. All right, we're gonna do a check. How much is it? And these are just some simple ways that you can utilize the item that you have around you. And all of a sudden that's the one and the not. And this is another form of income, and this is what we're doing. We help persons to realize their potential, their purposes. Okay, so yes, as I was saying, we help persons to utilize what is around them. And this is, as I said, it's just a simple way of using leaves to make real money. So no longer have money, you know? All right. So this is our final product we're going to keep.
So we'll be doing a double seal because we don't have a Ziploc. Okay, so one seal. And we have a double seal here. Let me play it in. So today we're just using crack and seal, very simple. We're just showing you the simple methods of labeling and packaging. And just like that, we have cinnamon leaf ready for exportation. And now we'll be moving into our final section, which we'll be talking about non-commercial and commercial exportation of our herbs and our spices. Now, I'll be covering the commercial aspect of it. Now, if you're thinking of going into commercial exportation, the process is not hard. However, there are three main criteria that you need to have. First, you need to go to plant quarantine, which is the governing body that supervises what leaves the country and ensure that and what comes in, and ensure that nothing that is contaminated leaves and nothing that is contaminated comes into our country. The next thing is to have a clean, safe, registered facility with plant quarantine, or agro-processing facilities are registered to be used as plant quarantine, but however, we would have to provide you with a letter for you to take here in order to use our facility. And also you'll need a registration from JAMPRO. You can go onto JAMPRO website and they'll show you the process of doing that. Now for something to be considered commercial, for leaves, some herbs, so your mint, your neem, other herbs. So it's up leaf, water leaf, 30, yes, neem. Those that if you're considering commercial, it would be 20 pounds and more. However, if you're doing items such as pimento, cocoa, coffee, ginger, and turmeric, the maximum is 11 pounds. So 11 pounds and up is commercial for those products. 20 pounds and up is commercial for your leaves and your other herbs. And also, for some products, if you are doing barks, say if you were using the cinnamon bark, you would have to get a phytosanitation from plant quarantine, and you'd have to get a certification for it to leave the country. If you are saying that you're non-commercial, however, every day you get up and you spend 20 pounds or more, they're going to flag you and you would have to become registered as a commercial exporter. Now, Ms. Ambersley will be coming to us and be explaining about our non-commercial requirement.
Okay, for the non-commercial requirement, it's a little bit different. You do not need a registered or a certified facility to do your operating or for packaging your products. However, they must be clean. So they should not have any soil, they should not have any pests, and you can pre-package them before you go to the plant quarantine office. You have to take them as is and they'll do their inspection and then they will get a stamp of approval. Now, unlike the commercial exporting of products, the maximum for non-commercial is 20 pounds for dried or grounded products. Anything that is grounded or powdered, the maximum is 20 pounds and below. For ginger, turmeric, pimento, cocoa, and coffee, it is 11 pounds and below. So anything above that is commercial. Anything less than that is non-commercial. Now, once you satisfy the minimum labeling standard, you get the stamp of approval from plant quarantine, and you take your now okay package to the courier or the post office, and you're good to go. So it's just 1, 2, 3. However,
post office must ensure that all agricultural items are stored and transported so they do not come in any form of contamination. So once you put it, send it to the courier, the post office, their responsibility to ensure that it gets to the person or the intended receiver in the same condition that it leaves the country. All right, so that's just 1, 2, 3. So as my colleague said earlier, we have a large number of resources available, so we can use our leads to make money. And as we continue to empower you to help yourself, so use these information to enhance your day-to-day activities. In addition to all the requirements that I listed above, you also need a phytosanitary certification from the country that you're going to be importing from or exporting to, sorry. So you need to ensure that you're in conjunction or you're in sync with their rules and regulation as well. So you can't just get up and send some things over there. You have to do a little bit of research and ensure that whatever you're sending is in conjunction with their laws of food safety. All right, thanks much.
Okay. So if you're exporting 20 pounds and above, you can have one package with 20 pounds or 30 pounds, and that's commercial, or you can have 10 packages. So any amount amounting to the total of 20 pounds is considered commercial. So if you're sending 20 pounds of ginger, you have to have a secondary packaging. So in this case, you know, you want a little thing a little bit fancy. You can tip a little ginger oil in here so that as they open it, they smell the nice aroma of ginger, and you pack these in it. So this is for a small package export. And if you're going large, what you do, is to affix your label onto the outside of the secondary package. If you're going large, go large or go home, you can use or produce export box. And because it is grounded, you don't have to use the one that is perforated, right? So you have the choice is really up to you and your purchaser, what they require. So this is a basic Jamaica produce of Jamaica box. So you can put paper in it to push on, and it holds up to a maximum of 30 pounds per box, and you just pack them in it, right? Very simple. So yes, that is it for today. So right now we'll be taking some questions, and we hope that the training was good and you learned something from it. So can go ahead with the questions.
Good afternoon. I think it's a very nice training. However, I'm wondering, could we get this information to our emails, please?
Did you do a registration? Okay, for this one, we had some issues with the link, so we did not get the opportunity to allow persons to register before they attend the training session. However, if you insert your email address, or if you could take our contact information and then you can reach out, because we have officers deployed in all parishes, then you can get this information.
So what you could do, identify what parishes from and your email address.
No, it says that they email us or text us. Then because you're gonna have to copy everything. So we're going to put our contact information in the chat, and you can get it from there, and you can contact us and give us your email address, and we'll send out the recording. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Ms. Andrea Smith, your hand is up.
Yeah, my name is Audrey Smith. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Okay, I came in kind of late too. So I would like to know how I can get what's the name of the solar dryer? And if it is available to us.
All right, the solar dryer is locally made. I put the information in the chat. Sorry that we can't really show it, it's on the outside, where it was locally made. And I think it cost roughly about $1,000 US because of construction, like the US dollar. But it's about that. I'll put the information in the chat for the person who did construct our one. And it was through the Tree That Feed Foundation that we actually got our own. All right.
So will I be able to get that information in my email as well?
We'll give the information in the chat room because more than one person might want the information to chat. So just look out for it there.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
That's Mr. Me? Yeah. Is there any other question? Person can just unmute and
Ms. Watkins, I'm seeing your hand.
Ms. Watkins, unmute and go ahead, please. One. Ms. Watkins or email. All right, so we'll be putting our emails in the chat and we'll put which parish we are from as well. All right, Miss, I'm not hearing Miss Watkins. Can Miss Dunkley go ahead and unmute?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Sorry about
Miss Watkins.
Yes, Miss Watkins.
Oh, all right, just mute back Miss Duhaney and then we'll take your question.
Sorry about that. I need to ask a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
I have several equipments coming from abroad.
Mm-hmm.
I have a dehydrator, I have a oil extractor, I have a electric grater, I have a little electrical bike that I want to use on the farm. I'm wondering if I can just go about and let them send them to me, or if I could get an incentive to clear.
I'm not 100% on that. Would have to try and get further information to you on that question where you want to import additional equipment. That goes through Commerce, Ministry of Commerce. So we'll have to get further information on that for you.
Okay, thanks much.
Ms. Duhaney?
Yes, I found 2 cinnamon trees on my farm.
Okay.
And I was wondering about cinnamon sticks and the processing of that.
Oh, the barks. The barks is what you're talking about.
Yes.
All right. I'm not 100% on that process. I don't know if my other colleagues are. All right. For the bark, the process is a little bit different in which if you're drying, the bark needs to be on a plastic dryer. So a plastic lattice can be used. Also, it has to have a sanitation certification as well. So that's for both commercial and non-commercial.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? So plant quarantine could give you the exact information, but that is the processing on that. So if you're going to have these and bark, you still have to get a type of sanitation certificate. Okay.
Oh, okay. Miss Watkins, Miss Watkins. So we just got us. Okay, so we just, Miss Akins, if you're online, could you just unmute and just put in that in bit of information at the type in the chat?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm actually in some noise, but I hope you're hearing me clearly.
Yes, we're hearing.
Okay, afternoon, everyone. So, in regards to the question for importation of some equipment, if you're a farmer that I know of, based on experience, you can apply through RADA for your duty concession, and then RADA will send that application over to the Ministry of Agriculture. However, prior to that application, you must be a farmer. The officer within the area must verify that you're a farmer and you have what you told them that you have on the farm and the size of your land and so on. And then they take the application over. I think it's a cost. At the time, it was $15,000. I'm not sure right now the cost of it, but it was about $15,000 for the application. And then we get back a letter from ministry, and then we proceed from there. I think the farmer will need that letter to take to customs for clearing those equipment.
Thank you very much, Miss Akins. Miss Watkins, I hope that answered your question, and I hope you were taking notes. But I will furnish you with anything that you did get. Any other question? And while we're trying to get all our contact information in the chat, please remember to just send us an email or call us, reminding us to send you the information or the training that we need.
All right, Miss Huggins, you can go ahead with your question.
Hi, good afternoon again to everyone. I have, I guess, maybe two little questions, right? I kind of do some processing of some herbs, like just for personal use. I use like a little coffee grinder. I just want to know, is there another type of mill, not the professional, maybe that big one that you have, but is something else that you could recommend for maybe like a little cottage industry or smaller, you know, more personal use or possible for export, other size or other brands that you could recommend?
Well, not brand, but they're grinders.
Not brand, but types, yeah.
Okay, so their grinders online is just that if you're using that grinder, you'd probably have to use a sieve, and you probably won't get the powdery texture that we got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the particles will be larger, won't be able to dissolve probably or dissolve fully. Some amount will be dissolved, but you still have residue if you're making tea.
Okay. And then the other question, I guess, if you're doing the labels, is there some agency or person, I mean, that would do the labeling, or that has to go through the Bureau of Standards?
Yes, the Bureau is the one that certifies labels.
Okay.
And the also helps, but there's a fee that is basic.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Would it be possible for us to use the RADA facility if we don't?
Yes. The facility is here to accommodate processors who are interested. It's just that we have a very minimal fee attached, and different location will have different items available to use. So currently, well, yes, St. Elizabeth is the only one with a solar dryer and a mill. However, depending on the type of product that you're doing, the Hanover facility and St. James, Trelawny.
Oh, so there's none close by in
St. Catherine, West. However,
Where are you?
Where are you
St.
located?
St.
Wednesday.
Catherine?
Mhm.
You said, and Twickenham Industry also
one in
has
St.
a
Catherine.
solar dryer and
And
a male
male.
and
Okay.
yes.
Thank
So you can check Twickenham Park, RADA, Twickenham Industries, and we also have a facility in St. Catherine in Linstead. However, they are not equipped with a mill and a solar dryer. The fees are $4,000 for the onboard registration, that is basically a membership, and $5,000 for 4 hours. Using 3 equipment, and you're allowed to take 3 persons to process with you, and you process and go. All facilities are equipped to do juices, jams, jellies, sauces, syrup, chips, pastries. But St. Elizabeth is equipped to do powders and flowers.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. And you can see the chat for our contact information. Please remember to send us your email address so that we can send this recording to you. Okay, Anderson, go
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am. All right, I just wanted to be sure that you said that there's a facility in St. James.
Yes, there's one at the St. James RADA,
Catherine
that's
Hall.
Catherine Hall.
And what do they do? What can we get done there?
Okay, as we
Jams, jellies, sauces, juices, syrups, chips, and pastries.
And these plants are they being utilized?
Yes, they are.
Okay, I have one other question. Thanks for that. For the plant quarantine, if I'm taking stuff to the plant quarantine that I want to be milled, should I just take them in raw form? Just take the leaf.
Just some clarity. You said you take stuff to plant quarantine to be milled.
If I want stuff to be milled, or if I want stuff to be processed, should I take them to the plant quarantine before?
No, you take the final product that is packaged and labeled to plant quarantine.
Okay.
And another point of information, for some products, they are going to pull and either they check all samples or they take a selection and do a random sampling where they check your product to see that it's properly done. There's no foreign matters in it.
Right, or poor quality. Right, but you said the final. So it wouldn't packaged. You couldn't package it. You would have
no,
to
you
take.
don't package them because they're going to pull them apart.
Open it. Yes, yes. All right. I think that's it.
It has to be packaged and labeled. So whatever product that is said to be in the package, that the label should reflect that. So they are going to probably take a few samples to check it. So if you're spending off, say, £30, take an additional amount because they're going to have to check before they give you a stamp of approval.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I missed something. Did you say that we can do milling here in Montego Bay?
No, only St. Elizabeth is equipped for that process.
Oh, so I would have to come to you guys.
Right.
All right, thank you.
But if I have up leaf, guava, Cersei, all of those, neem, I can take them to Montego Bay. Well,
to do what?
Some of these, no, it would only be the sauce up that I could take in the Montego
Bay. To do what?
For packaging.
Yes, they can.
So you're just drying the leaves and packaging?
Yes, so I would need to take them to you then.
Question, you said that they're already dried?
No, I don't have them. I'm just asking what the process is.
What was the question? Are you saying that you're taking dried leaves or you're taking green leaves to Montego?
Dried.
Because that will determine the answer, right? To which one?
to Montego Bay? Like
No,
source of
No, we're asking if you're taking the dry leaves, the Montego Bay, or you're taking the green leaves.
the dried ones.
Okay.
Yes, that can be done there.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay, and the officer put her contact information in the chat, so you can just contact. And if you don't have that particular officer number, you can call anyone and we'll give you the contact information. So we're taking one final question before we move on to the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I was just asking one question. Is it possible that if I have the dried leaves, that we can get them processed into powder at your St. Elizabeth office?
Yes, and it's for 2,000 per hour for to use the mill. Very minimal cost.
Okay. And do you have an idea like how many pounds? Do you have an idea to say how many pounds on average can be done in an hour of say soursop leaves?
All right, as it relates to the milling, whatever you have, and it's processed within an hour. So if you carry 5 pounds, it's $2,000. If you carry 100 pounds and it's milled in the hour, it's still $2,000.
Okay, thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Okay, I've been raising my hand for some time, but not being recognized. Good morning, everyone.
No, but who? Miss Smith? I've been saying Miss Smith.
Oh, well, maybe it's my bad. I am actually at work. I'm an officer at the plant quarantine produce inspection unit in Montego Bay. Okay. And for the times that I have been able to tune in, I have actually heard what I believe gave me the impression that persons probably leave this meeting believing that when they have powdered their product, that they need to take it to us. And I want to make it clear that for powdered items, those are not certified by plant quarantine. All right, from time to time, persons will take items that are powdered. Those are not certified by us. Items such as leaves, if you have your serraceae, it's not in a powdered form. Once you can recognize, the rule is once it has not been changed so as to eliminate the pest risk that would normally be associated with the items, then we will inspect and certify if it is clean, right? But for something that has been ground to powder, then that would not be a concern of plant quarantine.
Okay, thank you for that.
I just also want to say to persons, because this is a kind of a pitfall here that need to be avoided. Sometimes persons will read their leaves and they will examine them and they will, maybe you're gathering to have a certain amount and you say, well, I had taken off all the insects. But one of the things that persons need to be concerned about is stored pests. Sometimes whilst you are waiting to accumulate the 5 pounds you want to send, some insects will get into it, some stored pests. So you have to be careful at the point when you're gonna package it to come to us. You have to be careful that you would have inspected properly. Maybe you have a mesh thingy that you would kind of knock it through so that any insects that have come into it will fall out. Also, if you wanna put it in the oven, for a short time so that if there's any insect in it, those would be killed before taking it to us. Because once we see live insects running around, we are not going to be able to certify that. So I just wanted to make those 2 points.
Thank you very much for that. Can you do turmeric or ginger oil? No, we don't process oil in the facility. I'll now invite Ms. Parkinson, who will be closing out for us and doing the vote of thanks. Thank you guys for joining.
Ladies and gentlemen,
colleagues, good afternoon. We have come to yet another successful session. COVID-19 has forced us to do things differently, change our way of thinking, and more so get out of our comfort zone. And so, no matter the situation, we just have to make the most of it. While we would have loved to have this session face to face due to the current pandemic, we had to explore other means and ways to say the use understatement as today's and is capable of. A famous quote written by former President Barack Obama of the United States that we can take away today's state, and I quote, "Change will not come if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change we seek." I would like to first thank all the participants who took the time out to be a part of this very important session, which spoke to the process flow for dried herbs and spices and powders. We sincerely appreciate your efforts. I would also like to thank all the facilitators of the Social Services Home Economics Unit here at RADA. Likewise, our ICT team who was integral in ensuring we could be connected in this fashion. In addition, we would like to extend much gratitude to Mrs. Beverly Darby Collins for her continuous leadership and vision for agro-processing and capacity building of value-added entrepreneurs in Jamaica. The RADA Social Services Home Economics team is all about training, passing on new techniques and process in agro-processing, and ensuring that agro-processors and rural farm families are observing the standards necessary in the manufacturing and value-added industry. We do hope you found this training useful, and we'll be sure to advise you of other sessions in the future that will build your capacity and impact your lives. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Parkinson. And again, I just want to thank you, a big thank you to our main stakeholders for sticking with us. We had challenges upon challenges this morning, but we made it happen. And thanks to you for sticking with us. So we have come to another enlightening, informative, and educational session, and we'll be back next month with another training session helping you to help yourself. Thank you.